the art of storytelling. And I want to begin by telling you a little bit about the dance form that I do. So I'm part of an Indian classical dance company. The dance form is called Bharatanatyam, and I'm doing it since I was in elementary school, and like now I dance with the company. So to like break down the dance form, there's two parts of it: the intense footwork and the hand motions, and the second part is the storytelling. So that's what I want to talk to you about today. In our dance form, the storytelling has 9 emotions, or 9 rasas, and I want to go through the 9 emotions with you, and then we can play a game with storytelling. So, okay, I'm going to tell you the 9 emotions, how I would emote it right after I say it. So the first one is Shringar, which is delight. The second one is Hasya, which is laughter. The third one is Karuna, which is sorrow. The fourth one is Raudra, which is anger. The fifth one is Veera, which is heroic. The sixth one is Bhayanka, which is fearful. The seventh one is Bevasta, which is disgust. The eighth one is Adbhuta, which is wonder. The ninth one is Shanta, which is peace. And so, as a dancer, I build my emotions and my moods from the experiences that I've been through. For example, when I'm learning a piece about love or even frustration, I try to the experiences in my life that make me think or feel love or make me feel frustration. So sometimes that means that I have to completely step into the mind of someone else who I wouldn't normally relate to. An example of that would be me to play the role of a young girl who's complaining to her mom about being teased by the boys in her class, and that's something I can't really relate to, and I'm so far removed from that, but I have to put myself back into like what that little girl's head would be and what she's experiencing. So I'm going to show you a little snippet of how I would act that out, and I'm gonna talk it through. So I'm going to tell you the dialogue that's going on in my head, and then after I show you that, I'm going to do one and have you guys guess what I'm doing, and I'll give you a little clue beforehand, so you got a little hop along the way. So I'm going to do the one about the little girl. Woo. Mommy, the boys are teasing me. I didn't do anything wrong. They won't let me play ball with them. When I try to play, you take the ball away. It's not fair. I didn't do anything wrong. Oh no, sweetie. What happened? Come here. Don't cry. They made fun of you? That's not okay. No one does that to my little girl. Come here. I'll go talk to them. Yes, I will. Okay, so that's me. So now, I don't know how this is like gonna go, but I'll just try it out. So it's a fairy tale I'm sure like all of you know about, and I'm acting out sort of like the end of it. Yeah, okay. Okay, so doing storytelling through dance has forced me to see the world from the perspectives of others. When I have to capture the emotions of 2 characters in a conflict, for example, I have to explore in depth what each character is going through, what their background might be, and most importantly, their point of view. And as I mentioned, when I'm working on the characters I'm portraying, I have to tap into my own experiences and my own emotions. This process has shown me that there's a little bit of me in every character that I play, and perhaps more importantly, that all of our experiences and emotions, as different as they may seem, all have traits in common. Though I may not understand why you are frustrated, I understand your feeling of frustration. And though I may not understand why you love someone, I understand what it means to love. Gaining this perspective on the way others think or experience their lives has given me a sense of sympathy and compassion that I couldn't have gotten elsewhere. And so I decided to play a little bit with this idea of storytelling and look up what the experts have to say on the art of storytelling, and I just want to present to you guys 8 things that I found that I thought were really interesting that sort of takes what storytelling is to me and puts it into a bigger picture. And I'm sure there are things you can all apply in your life because maybe we don't realize it, but we all tell stories all the time. So the first thing is to know your audience. And that's important because the second thing is that storytelling is interactive. So even though storytelling is one person telling a story, it involves a two-way interaction, and oftentimes the storyteller's details or the way that they say things can be affected entirely by the level of engagement they're getting from their audience and the reactions they're getting from their audience. The third thing is that storytelling isn't based exactly on how you place your words or exactly how you phrase each sentence, but rather on the journey your readers are taken on. I'm sure we can all relate to that because books mean such different things. Like, one of us may read the same book, but it may have something completely different to each of us because of the journey we were individually taken on. The fourth thing is plan your story starting with the takeaway message. This might not be something everyone agrees with, but I found it really interesting because I can't even remember, I can't even count the amount of times that I've read something and I've thought about the last line in that book or journal or paper, and it's stuck with me for days to come, and it's really made a lasting impact on me just because it completely twisted the way I thought the whole piece was going or gave me a whole new perspective on something. And so it's really important to think about what's important to the audience and make the ending the most important part of the story because it's the message you want to deliver and the one that will linger with the audience. Okay, and the fifth one. Is there anyone in here who likes to paint or draw? I know Alex. Okay, so I'll do Candace as an example. Candace, if whatever you made didn't have to be pretty, what would you make?
Like paint or draw?
Or design, whatever.
Portraits.
Portraits. So the reason, okay, so that took a little different direction, but the reason, no, it's fine. I told you before that I was going to ask you. But the reason I ask is because the idea, if it didn't have to be pretty, what would you draw, or what would you write, or what would you paint is relevant because oftentimes people shy away from dark ideas, or dark images, or dark thoughts. And I found this online. Most people shy away from darkness, but as an author, you must be willing to dwell there. See it truly, explore it before you represent it. And I think that's really interesting because when we're all children and we don't know what's right and wrong, we a lot of times experience our emotions in extremes, but as we grow up, I feel that a lot of times we learn to sort of keep everything in check and learn to act the way we're supposed to because of what we're told or what, just the way we feel we're supposed to act. And a lot of times I feel like art or storytelling is, or even, rap, of course, as Donnie mentioned, is a way to express that and to sort of dig deeper into darker ideas that maybe would be tougher for you to say point blank, but if you put it in a piece of art or a story, it's an easier way of communicating it. And number 6, go beyond the 5 senses. So editors love the 5 senses, but they want and expect more. So I was going to give you an example, or I'll just give it to you. So the first example is Brian paused and lit a cigarette. A stream of smoke at the window. Now that's very descriptive, but let me read you another sentence. Brian paused and lit a cigarette. He held it close to his body as if he didn't want to take up too much space. He exhaled a stream of smoke at the window, avoiding Anne-Marie's eyes. Now, I think the distinction between those 2 sentences is not that we went into more detail, but that we access things like body language or his sense of self. I think that's what is meant by going beyond the 5 senses. The 7th one is really important because a lot of us are involved in some sort of business basically every single day, and persuasion is a huge part of business, and storytelling is a huge part of persuasion. And so I found this great quote by David Levenda, I'm sorry, I apologize, I wish I had it on a projector for you. The most important point is to make the switch within, because once you internalize that today's left brain communication style doesn't work very well, and you realize that stories are how people really communicate, you will find it a lot easier to proceed because it's authentic. And that is what really persuades. And the last one, the 8th point, is something I found written by Elizabeth Sims. So she says, lots of books make readers laugh, and lots of books make readers cry. But when readers laugh and cry while reading the same book, they remember it. I think that's really important because